A very good afternoon to you. It's lovely to see you. I hope you're having a great week and starting to be like us and start to be talking to living, breathing, sleeping customers again, which is just wonderful. So obviously, I think all of them are British from our perspective. So lots of staycations, but it is just nice to be talking to customers again, which is great. And my weekly update on the weather, it's not particularly great today. It's a bit grey and cloudy and not particularly wonderful. So a real treat today. We are talking about the incredible event that is Wimbledon. And I'm sure that you've had clients and so on who've either been to Wimbledon or are thinking about coming to Wimbledon, and we've got a real treat for you with the ultimate experience. It really is just absolutely magical. Sorry, I'm on my own today, so bear with me with the admin and so on, because Lisa is in another meeting, as is Gemma. So anyway, onwards and upwards. We will give your clients, as always, as we always promise, a fabulous day at the biggest and best tennis tournament in the world. Arguably, you might argue with that. Now, Wimbledon really is.
Good morning, this is Jackie.
Oh, hi, Jackie.
No, I'm sorry, this is Jackie. Who did you need? Let me see if she's available.
Okay. Right, sorry about that. So Wimbledon really is at the heart of the English season. It's about so much more than tennis. Obviously, the players wouldn't agree with that, but it really is wonderful in those first 2 weeks of July. And since they pushed it back by a week, which I think they did about 3-4 years ago, it's much better placed actually to coincide with a visit to Henley Regatta and to Henley Festival if your clients wanted to. So I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm saying that if your clients arrived on the Saturday, they could go to Regatta on the Sunday, go to Wimbledon on the Monday, and then Henley Festival on the Wednesday. And you only need to be there for 5 days, which is extraordinary. And you get in 3 of the highlights of the English season, which is just brilliant. So the history and traditions are really magical, and I think it's one of the things that makes Wimbledon as special as it is, that things like all the players always have to wear white tennis kit and so on. There's so much of that around, which is glorious. And obviously the absolutely essential strawberries and cream that have to be consumed at some point during the day, but we'll come on and talk more about the food and drink. And I think Goran Ivanisevic summed up the players' attitude towards Wimbledon. You know, once they are a Wimbledon champion, that's it. You know, no one can ever take it away from them, and it means the absolute world. So we love watching all of the battles on centre court and number one and the outside courts. And here's just a little snapshot of what makes it so amazing. Whoever filmed this must have had such fun. We do normally show you our own videos, but we couldn't even come close to the brilliance of this. And it's just wonderful. Gates opening to the All England Lawn Tennis Club, probably amongst the top 10 exclusive clubs in the world, I would imagine. And every top player wants to do battle on centre court. And they showed quite a bit of footage over what would have been the Wimbledon fortnight on British TV. and seeing some of these former champions, and they showed some of the games and so on, and it was just amazing. It was just great to watch. So there's a little snapshot. So the schedule for next year starts on 28th of June, culminating in the men's final on the 11th. Now we'll share some pricing and things with you later, but the pricing doesn't always seem to make sense. For example, day one is always more expensive than day two. And there's a noticeable difference between the men's and women's games in terms of the price. We are told it is on pure supply and demand, and there's a far greater demand for the men's, particularly when you get to the last 16 and the semis and so on. There's a real demand for those. So that's why the pricing can change, but it does mean that you can go quite cost effectively, which is good. SW19, as it's affectionately known, is the postcode of Wimbledon down there in southwest London. So it's a hop, skip and a jump really from any of the central London hotels. We do recommend always using, if your clients are using a driver, always to use somebody that knows their way in and out of Wimbledon properly. Because as you can imagine, during that fortnight, it's as bad as Henley is during Henley Regatta. So you need a driver that knows the back routes and knows where to park and all of those sorts of things. Obviously, those are the ones that we partner with, and it makes a absolutely huge difference. So dress code, yeah, players all have to wear white. There's absolutely no dress code for the spectators, except if you are privileged enough to be invited into the Royal Box. And then they are really rather strict about the dress code, but we will happily share that with you if it happens. But the tennis and the traditions of Wimbledon, I think if you've ever gone and walked through those gates and you just soak up this incredible atmosphere, and even just watching watching the leading players on the practice courts, you can walk around and see all of that, how all of the different courts are connected. It's well worth, even when, I mean, we always say this to our clients, if they've got the best centre court or number one court tickets, it's always worth wandering around and watching some of the games on the outside courts, because that can be where some of the absolutely classic battles take place. But the tea flows, the Pimm's flows, and the champagne flows alongside, obviously, the strawberries and cream, and all of that is just worth soaking up. And when your clients do come, we will give them a complete guide to the history and the things to look out for, just to make sure they make the absolute most of every moment, which is all important. Now, I thought you might like a few little facts. Your countrymen have been really rather successful at Wimbledon across the years. As you can see, both men and women have really stolen the show. I mean, we all, certainly from my generation, remember the epic battles with McEnroe, who is still one of our absolute favourite commentators for the tournament over here. So yes, you've certainly had, I think, more than your fair share of all of those singles titles. Rufus the Hawk is a definite annual tradition, and he is employed, I don't think his pay is probably very good, but the food's probably good. He is employed to scare off all the pigeons and the birds who might fly into the court. And there have been a couple of instances where he hasn't quite done his job, but generally speaking, he does keep them all away. And the only last time that Wimbledon was cancelled was down to the Second World War, and it was actually really quite, centre court was quite badly bombed. Quite a bit of the seating and so on had to be rebuilt. I mean, it's so close to London, it's no great surprise, but but rather sad. And I had to share a bit of romance with you because I think it's really rather sweet that Jimmy Connors and Chris Evert were engaged in 1974, and they both won their respective singles titles. Obviously, it didn't quite last, but it must have been very romantic at the time. And for the big players' dinner on the Sunday night, I bet they had a lot of fun. So, for your clients, there are obviously a whole number of different ways of doing Wimbledon. The wonderful thing is that to have access to the debenture seats is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, this year we had a family of 10 who were due to be coming over. They should have been here. Oh no, they would have gone home by now. And we managed to get them 10 seats altogether, which I must admit, even I was proud of. I didn't think we'd do it, but we can get the very best debenture seats on both centre court and number one. Some people prefer number one. And number one court, I think, has its new roof as from next year. So like centre court, and those endless traditions of days being wiped out by rain, that no longer happens if you're on one of the show courts, which is great. So if your clients have a debenture seat, they have access to the debenture restaurant, which is nicely situated. It's quite high up, and they can look across the sort of part of the whole Wimbledon enclosure, as it were. And the food is perfectly reasonable. The next step up are there are 2 or 3 of the hospitality options that we recommend. The one we recommend depends on the type of experience that your clients are looking for. Some of them have live music through the day. There's one, for example, that is considerably closer to the actual tennis. Although even the one that is set back a little bit, you've got your little golf buggies, so your clients can be ferried to and from. So they all have their own character. So it very much depends on the experience that your clients are looking for. Now, the ultimate experience is a real special, and a bit like I asked you to be discreet about entrance to the members' enclosure on at Henley Regatta. I asked the same of this one, please, because your clients would be, if they chose to do this, your clients would be hosted by a member of the All England Tennis Club, and they will be wined and dined and lunched and all the rest of it inside the main members enclosure, which is within the sort of whole centre court setup. Now, anybody who is anybody in tennis will be in there. All of the former players and everybody who has reached those dizzy heights in Wimbledon. And we can also arrange for a former player, someone like maybe Peter Fleming, someone like that, to join your clients for a couple of hours, sit and have a cup of tea, and talk about what it's like to play at Wimbledon. Well, more in Peter Fleming's case, to win Wimbledon titles in his days with McEnroe. So there is absolutely, I think I can say hand on heart, no better experience for an absolute tennis fan than getting into the members' enclosure. We can only do that for one party per day. So for the 13 days, because they don't play on the middle Sunday. For the 13 days of Wimbledon, there are 13 opportunities. So if you do have some tennis fans and some clients who are maybe thinking of coming over next year, I just recommend that you get in touch and ask them to confirm as soon as possible, because the seats are just the better, obviously, the earlier that we are, and also they're cheaper. The price of the debenture seats goes up and up and up the closer we get to the championship. And if they did want that ultimate experience, then we can guarantee it on the day of their choice. So these are the sorts of pricing that you're looking for the different levels of hospitality. And as you can see, there are sort of buggy shuttles, and the food and drinks are absolutely superb wherever they choose to eat. But that will give you a good feel for the pricing of Wimbledon. The men's final is going to be quite a bit more expensive than that, no great surprise. So we will work to within their budget with you to put together the best day. Now, we decided to share this with you because if you've got somebody who likes tennis but maybe doesn't want to spend that kind of money, the Boodles tennis tournament is a most lovely event. It really is. As you can see from the picture here, the whole setting is incredibly intimate. You're very up close and personal with the players. They normally have about 50% of the top 20 players there each year. It's seen as a bit like Queen's Club. It's seen as one of the Wimbledon warm-up tournaments. And there are all sorts of fabulous hospitality opportunities. They can meet and talk to some former players who are there, and it's so small. It's just wonderful. And the tickets for that start around the sort of £700-800 mark per person. So it's noticeably, and that includes the hospitality. So it's noticeably cheaper than Wimbledon, and that's at Stoke Park, which is about sort of 40 minutes outside of London. So again, perfectly doable in a day. And as you can see, it happens a couple of weeks before, a week before Wimbledon starts. But it really is just lovely. And your clients can stay. Stoke Park is a lovely hotel. It's got the most amazing spa. So really lovely, and a very sort of special occasion. So that's the wonder of Wimbledon. I hope we've shared some useful info that maybe you didn't know. Oh, Jackie, that's fine. Accommodation, yes, very good question. To be honest with you, there aren't fabulous accommodation options close by, if I'm honest. Clifton House is about a sort of 30 minutes away, like the Langley and Monkey Island. Coworth Park is probably the closest hotel outside of London. There are a couple of 4 stars, but I don't have enough experience of the 4-star hotels to recommend them or not. But Windsor or Clifton and Taplow and that area is about sort of 30 minutes or so away. So it's quite easily done. Or the London hotels. Kensington is a good location to get down to Wimbledon. So depending on the type of clients or the type of thing your clients want, we'll happily obviously recommend the best type of thing. There are some smaller sort of little they're almost verging on the guest house possibly, but the 3, but yes, oh sorry, I didn't read the simultaneous season bit. In that case, I would definitely say Clifton would be the option. And actually, thank you, Todd, because you've made me think that I will put that together as a package. So we will work on that and get that over to you. Okay, well, thank you very much. It's lovely to see you. The others have obviously had to dash off, but lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.